heard about Zende in the past and you wrote about the character?
I heard about the background in the past, but I don't know what happened. I knew that somebody was the character, that one character is based on it. And of course, there was another village done because my love character is so far. The film first happened to like the freedom from the ideas and a lot of things we get around much older. And just how playing and traveling and allowing people such a society we clearly see holding a lot, it must not want to look at its own handling capacity. It isn't this narcissistic sociopathic tendency. There is absolutely right.
We talked about that, but let's go to the media. It's very simple because this is cinematic aspect of it. This is a book that is in the cinema. How do you perceive that? That's very old, but you know, favorite aspect that is a lot of the key and long creative of the key. Cinema, when you think of the complete film, organically, from whatever information we gathered during the research. And when I say really hard about it, I find two things were very non-human behavior. For example, these building the individual person in the life when they are going to do. And the life goes to borrow the coat and leave her because, her husband has to go to her and go and spend 5 star hotel. They couldn't do that. Actually, one thing which we did moving the film that it has been actually well done for a first 2 days. Actually, well done to all particular characters pretending to be something. These things, they have a certain point of view of it. And the story of the criminal is very, when I for instance, when it's in criminal side, it becomes very, very natural. If there are stories from the cop scene, it becomes a very good story because it is about underground aspect mentioned before. Human is longer. So, the creature becomes naturally from the person. It was not like he wanted to make it more of a funny show and we try to put in this story in the time or the human listeners we won't find it later. You mentioned the first and the first the travel is glad or maybe with all cases of this. Right, that's my study for. It's not about that. Friends, like this, actually great acting. That is one thing. So I'm told India में मिस करना था static so I learned from I feel from that we can and this thing is like more like on the level so the basic task there is always a good value that is applied to other people but not very glad to it but I thought that they were sad so after when coming back there was some underrated people other people while when you were coming back I was
my first year of campus program, I have to come back to English. So my father suddenly sent me a call to me. I was in the car applied here. And my phone was supposed to be around 6:30 p.m. in Delhi. But this was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then there was a fair time. Because we were not studying that. And one thing when I have in that library, when it reached Monday, when it was still a Monday, in Mumbai, Diwali hit Mumbai from the thousand first time. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, that's the thing. One thing to put out, it's not a long movie, but not even beautiful to like that. It's not very much that the people you could not do trying to make the public. So the way people actually this amazing. I really am known to it. Okay? You do not necessarily have to be able to anything that person is a character. One of you should try to get the idea of the character, understand, and try to give your own interpretation. This is what I really enjoyed. That's what I do in my life. I think those two benefit from each other. Very true. But I think learn on both sides because I find out that my feeling. It's not like everybody my feeling. And this is why I enjoyed between last and previous months. Yeah, you need to bring it. You need to bring it. Yeah, but he's looking great. And I'm very particular to you. I didn't listen to the story. So he's supposed to be happy with the happy start. This is so that's the reason Hindustan has been very, very single minded because it's just not good. And when you look at the book, it's very important. You know, in the beginning, we are putting it in the very person before it's not good or bad for the family. It depends on the thing. There is no formula. It's more uncomfortable. The idea of filming who is dedicated to India or who is not intention of nabbing the criminal is important. Now, in such a way, he retired in the family. He went to it, and he was playing the man who was in his 46th year when he got the criminal. I will not say that Manoj Bajpayee to me from the instant interaction with the player and the acting. So I really was not saying to me. I very learn about it somehow. Hopefully, I was able to do that. Most of them I haven't had the opportunity to play them very successfully, but even if I don't know very well feeling out to me, but it's the same thing with this thing. I don't want to get stuck in anything. I don't want to be second guessing myself about eating mannerism or eating action. I want to get the script and then I want to be free to try to create my interpretation of the character, in collaboration with the director, and do some parameters. So, personally, I don't like to move. I don't like to move. What is that about? I think I saw who's about choices, not you. very heavy framework. His attitude towards the questioner, the interviewer, the interviewer. That was more interesting to me than anything else. The attitude towards them was very willing. Another book is very loyal, very clever, and he can't decide himself as a black man. The person is victim by tonight. Just enough of it, to get a feeling. We had a meeting, we went to the club for some time. Then he came up with some really wonderful suggestions. Then we had a few long sessions about it, and then we practiced because the reason is the business is like different accents. A person speaking in English, a person speaking in Hindi, that's what we love. I was very lucky to have him around when I was doing this. And we're only talking about life, understanding each other as person. But similar it has been a long journey. An actor spends so much time with the developer trying to understand the person, the vision of a film, how he is doing the character, try to understand his face, his vision. And that is, and also understand, trying to fit into his brain is a video performance is something I try to make an effort to really understand all of that. Yes, he's an actor. He is an actor. And also a developer. So he understood the mental block of mind at times. And he tried to help me with systems here and there. And that really matters. It matters that you need a very family behind the camera. What you're about. And that's why nothing else. When we finally did that things together, it was like this not very amazing about and we focused on the film and then when we want to go to the video and the other and it was like very easy to learn. And then we talked to the production line and what we travel again.